3 a.m. in the morning. I'm sitting
That's hit to right field. Long run for Pilar. And Pilar all out into foul territory to make the play.
Bogarts with a drive out to right field. Judge is back on it, and that one's gone.
Against all odds. Here's a high fly ball driven deep to right. Verdugo back to the pen. Leaps up. He caught it. He caught the ball. He took it back.
And I will keep on waiting for a better day.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Pesky Poll Podcast. Episode, was it 74?
Believe so, 74.
Somewhere around there. We have a very, very special one for you guys. Brian and I got up. Oh, joining me, one of our guests, Brian Costa of Down to the Wire. Brian, say what's good.
What's good? Thank you for the very impromptu intro. I appreciate it. Once again, happy to be on the show, Robert.
Always a pleasure to have you on. And today I needed to bring Brian on because I needed some help. Joining us today, we have 8th round pick outfielder from the Red Sox organization, currently playing in Salem, Virginia, Will Dalton. Now, funny story between Will and I originally messaged him in February to come get a interview done. He messaged me a day or two after saying he'd love to. The problem is on Instagram, I share that account with Adam, and Adam will sometimes, very rarely, post stuff on there. Adam saw the message and never told me. So I never saw it in my inbox, and I let the message sit there for 8 weeks until I finally realized. So a couple days ago, I messaged back out to Will. I apologized to him. I said, look, I'm sorry about this. If you still want to come on the show.
Adam is a doofus.
Yes, Adam is an idiot. I apologize. If you still want to come on the show, I'd love to have you. And he was nice enough to say, yeah, let's still get a show in. I mean, this dude's killing it in Salem right now, batting over 300. We're only about 12 games in for him, but he is still killing the game. You excited for this one, Brian?
I'm very excited for it. Let's get into it.
All right, let's not hold the people too much longer. Before we do, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes, gang. I never, ever forget about you guys. How you guys doing today? By the way, I want to do this thing starting this episode where, like I said, I got people from like all over the world who listen, right? So I'm going to shout out the random person from Dallas, Texas who watches this. If that's you, DM me on Instagram. All right, but shout out to the random person listening to me in Dallas, Texas. I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody worldwide who listens to me. Without further ado, let's get right into this interview. All right, guys, so with us today, we have 8th round pick selected by our Boston Red Sox outfielder, Will Dalton. Will, what's good, my man?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Yo, it's awesome to have you in. We got a bunch of questions we wanted to ask you. Let us and our fans get to know you, a little bit about you, and more about the baseball side of you. So, without further ado, we'll get right into it. And I know we were just talking about this off recording. You were saying you're talking about the media and everything right out of college. But I want to start off the interview with your first draft night, where you got drafted in the 29th round by the Orioles right out of high school. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So coming out of high school, it's always hard to tell where someone will be drafted. But is that where you thought you would end up, and what made your decision to not go straight to the MLB and go to college?
So my whole recruiting process was, and growing up was quite interesting. I just started off with, I wasn't the most physical guy my whole high school career. I wasn't the most polished guy. I wasn't, just the, most polished gem in the bag, I guess you could say. But I knew I could play. I found a way to play. I found a way to be successful. I found a way, always to win. That was my goal. That was how I was, brought into this game. That's how I trained. That's how my coaches, helped me form me into the player that I am now. And so, going into it, I didn't have any Division I offers out of high school. had known that I was going to junior college for a while, and actually really, being drafted was one of my goals out of high school, even, without the big, recruiting process that, a lot of guys go through in high school. And so I knew it just took one team to be interested. I played in a good district or conference in high school. We had many kids, that were going to Vanderbilt, going to SEC schools, that many scouts were out to see play. And it just took one good game against those guys to get guys interested into maybe taking a chance on me. Going into it, my senior season, I was having a good year. And then one night played a pretty good game, and all of a sudden started having text messages pop on my phone from a scout that was at the game, asking for, my information, my email, stuff of that nature, to basically, fill out the normal draft stuff. So, I mean, it was exciting. It was something that, I definitely was like, wow, this is, I put my head down and tried to make this happen, and I'm making it happen. But when it came down to it, I had to realize the fact that I still had a lot more development to do body-wise. I still needed to, get bigger, get stronger, get faster. I knew the drive was there. I knew the ability was there. It was just a matter of, polishing that, but also understanding, the business side of things, knowing that me being younger, knowing that I maybe needed another year of playing college ball or something of that nature, to get off to a better start in pro ball. I knew that was possibly necessary. So, I'd set a number, I'd set where I wanted it to be. When you get drafted in the 28th round, you don't get as much money, obviously. It's not like you're going to, it's not a big investment. I wanted a team to make an investment out of me and out of college. And if that wasn't the case, then I was perfectly okay with going to school for a year. I knew I had, the same chances of getting picked up higher coming out of a junior college my freshman year, as long as I just went and played my game. So when that happened, I was with my buddies. If it happened, cool. If it didn't, it didn't. I got the phone call, got to, call my coaches, call my parents. And it was an unreal, scenario, whether, even though I didn't sign, it was awesome. It showed that, hey, if you want something, it doesn't matter if people keep telling you no. You're not good enough. No, you're not big enough. No, you're not strong enough. He's just a fringe hitter. Well, if you work at something hard enough, at the end of the day, they can't deny you. And that's what I tell a lot of people. A lot of kids growing up that don't have as much of a high profile look to them, and people are like, well, are they going to be able to play this game for a long time? Are they going to be able to go to college? They don't have a lot of offers. Yeah, if you want to make it work, make it work. You got to be able to do stuff that you don't, that other people aren't willing to do. You got to miss out on stuff. You got to, miss out hanging out with your friends, miss on some of the, stuff that a lot of people look back on and like, wow, that was so much fun. Well, I get to look back and say, well, I missed that, but guess what? I get to do something now, and I've gotten to experience some things with this game that other people haven't, because I was willing to, get away from just everyday life and work hard to try to make a goal that I had of mine, into a reality. So it was cool. But, at the end of it, we knew that I was most likely, I was a 99.9% chance I was going to end up going to a junior college. And I was going to play in college for at least a year. And that's where I kind of set my sights after that. So.
All right. And you're originally from West Tennessee, right?
I'm from Middle Tennessee. So it's 35 minutes south of southwest of Nashville. If you live around that area and that area around Nashville, you just say you're from Nashville, but it's from Spring Hill, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm from about a half hour, an hour south of Knoxville, so I'm on the eastern side.
Okay, yeah. So my sister actually lives. Do you know where Cookville is?
Cookville, yeah, that's about an hour north of me, somewhere around there.
Okay, yeah. So that's where my sister lives. She went to school at Tech. So did my brother-in-law. and then all my friends ended up going to school in Chattanooga. A lot of them did.
Mm-hmm.
So I've spent some time down there. So
it's gorgeous over here, man. I love it.
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I'm the one loner because I actually have never been to Tennessee. I still live up in Mass. Rob was bullying me about it before the show, and I was like, listen, man, I'm sorry, but it is what it is. You know, one kind of thing that kind of struck me when you were kind of talking about like your whole experience of getting drafted the first time. When you kind of brought that up, and like you seemed to make a really informed decision of like saying like, hey, like there's like a 99% chance I'm gonna probably be going to play another year after this. You know, when like, and you know, you probably had like your sights set on like, all right, this is probably a goal that I have for myself and all that stuff. When it happened though, was there kind of a moment where it kind of struck you and it was like holy crap, this actually just happened? Like was there a second where you almost had to like reconsider things, or was it kind of like, hey, I had a game plan, I'm gonna stick to it, and you know, this is just you know, the way that this is playing out?
Yeah, I mean, there's always, obviously, you never know with these guys that sit in these rooms and make all these, you know, calls to draft a player. You never know what they're willing to do.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it was something I had to kind of wait around, see what they wanted to do, see what they wanted to say, but, you know, also see the reality side of things. Didn't have a lot of leverage, wasn't going to a big school. You know, I was kind of still a nobody to a lot of people. And I knew that. And so it was just something that, you know, I kind of, you know, I did think about it. Hey, this could happen. You know, we could do this. We could sign right now. But it was also something I had to remind myself, look, like, you bet on yourself your whole career. You know, don't just take the easy way now and you know, sign now if it's just the easiest option. Don't be afraid to continue to bet on yourself and believe in yourself that you can go where you believe you can go, and that's higher. You know, that's it, you just never know what hard work can do. So it was something kind of, you know, we definitely waited. We sat down and I talked to my family and I talked to my friends, talked to my coaches, but we all kind of figured, hey, another year would be good for me. So it was something that, you know, worked out in the long run for me, and I'm happy I did.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, Will, like, you know, that helped out a lot for you, and you know, it definitely was a decision that paid off. At, you know, being like, you went from, you know, being a pick in the late 20s to, you know, getting into the top 10 rounds. Like, it was, you know, a dramatic shift upwards for you, and it really did show that did kind of pay dividends. So, you know, the second time when you got drafted around, when you got drafted, you know, back in 2019, I was actually graduating high school at the time, which is wild to think now. But but back when that happened, you know, you ended up getting the call from the Red Sox. Were there any other inklings of like maybe teams that were maybe like, you know, that were there any other rumblings of like, hey, like this team might be interested in you? Was there anything like that going on, or did it just happen to be that you just got the call and it was like, hey, I'm gonna be a Red Sox?
So, you know, junior year was a whirlwind of emotions.
Yeah.
Some positives, but there were a lot of negatives in that year. Came into the year preseason All-American. Sophomore year went off, put my name on the map. Everybody knew who the little guy, you know, little right-hand hitter from Tennessee was. And now that I'd gone off in the SEC and done my thing and finally showed, you know, my true colors to everybody, that it kind of, you know, I came into the year and saw that, hey, wow, you went from a 29th round guy to now people are you know, scouts and people are talking to you, the fact that you have a chance to, you know, go as early as the first round. You know, you have as early to go the second, the third, the fourth. You know, my junior year struggled. I mean, it was okay. It wasn't awful. You know, I battled. I, you know, did everything I could every day to try to help my team win. But I had my, you know, bumps in the road. Ended up, you know, falling off a lot of people's boards. Ended up going in the eighth. You know, the day of the draft, I had calls that I could still go from, you know, all the way down from 3 to 10, it was just a matter of time of who was willing to take the chance. Once again, it was just me having to tell myself, sounds like these guys still aren't all in. I know I had a bad year. I know I underachieved in many ways for my team. And so it was basically saying, it's just going to take one person today to say, okay, because I'm going to bet on myself and I'm going to prove to them, they got a first round talent. It was just, matter of time. I had to get back into being me, doing me. And so, I had Mariners and the Cubs and some other teams that called me that morning and spoke to me and, trying to figure some things out. And then KC called me at, I think it was like the 5th round, said, hey, we're probably going to take you in the 5th. Said, okay. 6th round, 6th round comes around. They didn't pick me. 6th round, they call again. Said the same thing. I said, okay. Same thing, falls through. 7th round, has same thing. I think there was another team that said there was a possibility of them taking me. They had called, my agent at the time, whatever, and I said, okay, again. I just want to with the kid that wanted to play baseball, man. Give me a hot dog and a plane ticket. I'll be on a plane tomorrow. I promise you I'll show up ready to outwork everybody. And so another, 7th round, in the 7th round, Casey already had their pick. They picked another pitcher, and I just sat there and I was just like, my family and everybody that I had there was sitting around me, and I just kind of stood up and, excuse my language, I was just like, son of a bitch. I was like, that's 4 rounds in a row, 3-4 rounds in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, so at this point, I'm getting up and I picked up my phone and I walked outside, take a deep breath, and I just, I only got to the point. I was like, no, wherever this goes, this goes. You brought out these cards. You struggled this year. You just got to wear it. You got to wear it on the chin. No matter where you go, you got to be proud of it. It's an accomplishment no matter what. And about 2 minutes later, I got a phone call from my guy, and he says, hey, Boston's willing to take you, 8th round. Get ready because it's about to happen. I was like, all right, cool. And the coolest story behind that is when I went on my official visit to the University of Florida my freshman year in junior college, Craig Bell, the coach, the recruiting coordinator and the third base coach at the time, was taking me out to lunch right after I got, done touring the campus. And the first guy that I met, in the city of Gainesville, other than the coaches, was Stephen Hargett, the scout for the Red Sox. He was at the barbecue restaurant we went to, and I met him. And ever since then, we had talked and been close, and really gotten to know each other. So it was cool to see a guy that had been really invested for me since literally the minute I've been in that town. Even just on my official visit before I even was committed. It was cool to see him be able to get a player that, he spent time and a lot of effort learning who I was and finding the background information of what makes me tick. And, it wasn't just him sitting and watching me play baseball. So it was cool. The fact that, hey, he was one of the first guys I ever met in that town. He's, the guy that, got me out of that town to go play, follow my dreams. So.
I completely get that. And that's actually a really cool story about how you're able to meet him. But that sucks, team passing on you 3 rounds in a row. I would have been pissed.
I think I looked up at my dad at one point and said, Dad, if this was easy, would that make it right for my story? And he goes, no, nothing's ever been given to me easy. And, and so, in all honesty, it kind of, I settled down into my comfort zone once I just kept getting passed and passed and passed. And I understand, you got guys you got to make an investment on. Sometimes I can scare people, sometimes I can be a wild card. But, in the long run, Hargett knew, I was going to bet on myself. And if there was anybody that was going to, back up his word, it was going to be me. And, the way I work about it every day. You know, I bet on myself. I work as hard as I can, and however the cards fall, they fall. So,
Yep, I got you.
Yeah, that's
So-
crazy. Oh, so yeah, no. So what I was gonna say is, I mean, once that decision got made, it probably was like a massive relief off your back. I probably would have to assume so, like, right?
definitely, no doubt.
Yeah. So once that kind of came across, like, within like a 2-week span or kind of just less than that, you go from playing college ball down in Florida, kind of, doing your thing down there, to then, being shipped up and playing minor league ball in Lowell, Massachusetts. How does that, like, I mean, just two very different places. How does that kind of a transition, like, how did you kind of transition to that, going from, D1 ball to the minor leagues? Because I actually know I've watched there's a YouTuber named Matt Antonelli. He was a second baseman previously in the majors, and he's kind of made videos highlighting like what different levels of the minor leagues are like, and what it's like once you make it to the majors and different things like that. And he was kind of describing like the atmosphere down in like the minor leagues. What was that kind of a transition like for you?
I would say it was more of kind of like I had to take a deep breath. College at times, you play more games over a pro season, but I felt like at college at times, don't get me wrong, every time you step out in between those white lines, that game matters. At least for me, it does. In pro ball, a lot of guys say, oh, it's all about development. But in my opinion, I look at everybody and I don't care who it is, whether it's from, the highest of highs in an organization, or, some guy, that cleans the stalls down in JetBlue. I'll tell him if I step between those lines, I don't give a shit what I do. I just give a shit about winning the game.
Yeah.
And so it just, I don't know, I had to take a deep breath and kind of relax, and kind of just start going with the flow, learning kind of the flows of pro ball. I've been around guys that have played professional baseball for a while, taking what they had taught me and learning from them and kind of just figuring it out that way. But I came in, I was banged up from the college season, physically and the mental toll of it. And so never really got to recover from that. So, I struggled a little bit because of those issues as well. But, it was a learning experience. It kind of allowed me to see where I was at, see what I needed to do, see, get ready for the off season, what I, needed to polish in my own skills for pro ball, coming back into the next spring training and just go from there.
Mm-hmm. And plus, the city of Lowell, right, I'm so mad we didn't keep that team too. That was my first experience in baseball, was when I was, 4 or 5 years old. My dad taking me to Lowell Spinners games because we live 10 minutes from the park. That's how I fell in love with the game. So seeing
Mark
that
my
team,
words, it'll be back.
Man, I hope you're coming from some sort of inside source, because
I can't say anything, but just trust me in the fact that it'll be back. If it's not back, we're all gonna be mad. We have that place has a special spot in a lot of the 19 drafts hearts. We love that town. But that town, it'll be back. Don't worry about it.
That's good to hear.
And I gotta ask one quick thing. When you were in Lowell in 2019, one of I believe I saw it somewhere. Were you friends with a guy named Brendan Salucci?
That's my roommate.
He was your roommate. Okay, I knew I saw you guys somewhere like together, but
that is my roommate. We moved in together. So in June of last summer, it was about a month before, I was sitting at home in Tennessee, and I was like, man, I need to change scenery, man. I want to get back to like full on training every day, no distractions, nothing. This is going to be a big year coming up. And I called him because, I'd roomed with him a couple times on the road. We were good friends. We'd stayed in touch. But he had a guy, it was the same guy, had the same kind of passion for how to play this game and how I play it as well. And, same drive. And so it was something that, I called him and I was like, hey man, I'm moving to Florida. And he goes, okay. And I said, I need a roommate. So how about you pack yourself up, get out of Philly. I know it's decently nice up there right now, but once it gets cold this winter, you're not going to want to be there. And he was like, yeah, that's true. I said, I'll get an apartment, we can split the cost, yada, 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 so on and so forth. And, we made it happen. And so, kids like my brother, sometimes I have to take care of him like he's my son, but I love him to death. There's been instances where, I've had to like help him out with certain situations. And the guy goes, all right, thanks, Dad. I wouldn't have been able to do this without you. I was like, yeah, we know. But yeah, another kid, I love the kid to death. He's a brother to me.
He was the first guy I had on the show way back in April of 2020. Once all this stuff started happening, I've had him on twice now. He is the most like humble guy I've ever met.
Oh, great dude.
Yeah, but everything that you're saying doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
Yeah. No, he works his butt off. I mean, there's sometimes I have to pull the reins back on and be like, all right, dude, you need to relax a little bit, take a deep breath. Because we're both workaholics, but there's sometimes, over the past year or so, I've kind of developed a point to where it's like, all right, you've done enough. You need to take a breath and sit down and, let your body rest before you kill yourself. He's been a big part of my career, and the short stint I've had in pro ball so far. Between him pushing my stuff in from freaking, him pitching to me on the mound because he's gross, to me trying to get him, it's been fun. It's been a journey so far. We've had, I wouldn't want anybody else next to me, hopefully I'll see him sometime soon. You never know how this, whole minor league stuff works. He's in high A, so, hopefully maybe I'll see him soon. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Brian, you got the next one?
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of, coming up through the system so far, you're making your way up, as you hope to progress through it, what are some things that Boston fans, hopefully could expect out of you as you climb up through the system? Like what do you kind of want them to know about you, kind of maybe as your play style, maybe you just as a person, but like, what are some things that you kind of, want to let the fans, around these parts know?
The biggest thing that I bring to the park every day with me is, no matter if, I'm going well or, I'm 0 for 100. I promise you every day I'm going to come out there and give it everything I got. May not be the prettiest thing, but I guarantee you I'm going to stay aggressive. I'm going to stay, giving everything I have no matter what. Anytime I get to put on that jersey and represent the Boston Red Sox, it means the world to me. I would live and die in that jersey if I've got to. These colors mean the world to me. This organization means the world to me. There's nothing more that I would rather see. I put it at the top of my goals over my own personal goals is to bring a championship to Boston. Whether that's in the near future or that's, way on down the road, that's my plan before I leave this game of baseball, to do that for this town, for Boston. It means the world to me. I'll give everything 110%, whether my body's in pain or not. I promise you, I will be out there, emptying the gas tank every night, trying to win a game. So,
man, I love that kind of answer.
I love to hear it too. Yeah.
Trust me, seeing our team, and yes, we won one back in 2018, but we're Boston fans. We're perfectionists. We want to see this team in the run every single year. So hearing that from you, I cannot wait to see what happens.
Definitely. I'll say this: I think they keep doing the things they're doing this year. They got a chance. It'll be interesting. But I'll say this: a lot of us guys have talked about it. A lot of people in our organization have said it. The 19 group and some of the guys, other guys around that from the other classes right around that. That's a very good group, and they've all said it. They think they can win a championship with what they've got in their farm system right now. It's just a matter of time for all of us to put it together and get there. So, we're excited. We work hard towards it every day and see what happens. So,
it's fun to use some of the prospects on MLB The Show. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, no, I was playing it the other day. I haven't played video games in a while. Hold on one second.
Okay.
You there?
Yep.
Yeah,
Alright, good.
we got you.
I hadn't played, video games in a while, and I was playing. Nick Northcutt's my roommate. We were playing in the hotel room the other night, and we what was it? We were playing some of the minor league teams or whatever, and I was like, Jimenez, who's 2 hotel rooms down. I'm like, the dude's on a video game.
Yep.
But, you got Casas and a bunch of other dudes on there. I'm like, this is awesome. I'm friends with the dudes. They're on video games. So I was like, they're basically famous,
Mm-hmm.
So it's been cool.
Maybe you can brag about striking them out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'll use some like other freaking minor league team that I don't know anybody on, and I'll go up to Jimenez the next day when I'm on the field. I'm like, hey, I struck you out last night. He'd be like, what are you talking about?
or you end up just going, hey, I beaned you.
Oh yeah, no. So I normally just throw everything down the middle and MLB the show because I'm like, look, let's get this inning over with.
I just fast forward to the inning. I'm getting on offense. I'm good.
Right, exactly.
But all I gotta say is, if you got any other friends who want to come on the show, let them know. No, I'm just kidding. But with the next question that I got for you, where is it at? I lost my place. So let's talk about you so far this year. Now I know we're going off a small sample size because you've only played 12 games, it says. But
oh my God,
I mean, come on, man! You jumped up to having a 300 batting average, a 308, almost 400 on base percentage, 2 home runs through 12 games. You're killing it so far. I mean, there's no other way to say it. So I know it's still, like I said, small sample size, but what do you contribute to that success so far throughout the season? And what's the key to keeping this up throughout the season?
The reason behind all this is just like I've known I've been capable of this. I played in the hardest conference in the whole entire country. There's a reason I played with that actually, multiple guys that are already in the big leagues that when I got to SEC, I played against or played with, my Singer, all those dudes, I've had success against guys like that. I believed in myself. I've known that, I'm capable of doing this. In a humble way, I'd say this, I've gotten off to a decent start. I'm happy with the start that I've gotten off to, but I don't think I'm anywhere close to achieving where I'm at. The other day I was having a conversation with some people and I told them, I was like, in all honesty right now, I feel like that I'm still underachieving. I'm technically an older guy, I guess, on average in our league. I expect myself to do things, at a higher rate. I'll continue to do that. I'll continue to work that way. And I'll continue having fun that way. And so it's, I would say, the biggest thing was just realizing it's in there. After the 2, back-to-back rough seasons coming straight from college to straight in pro ball and still struggling, I had my bumps and bruises and then sitting out having to sit out all of 2020 because of COVID, was tough. But I knew basically this is what I wanted to do. This is what I want to do for a living. And so I had to just put everything, all my eggs in one basket, as scary as it may be. And every day go in and work on what I knew was right. Not just working on what everybody wanted me to work on, working on what I knew was right for me, surrounding me with the right people for me, to better help me perform for this organization. And so coming into it, the year, I was very excited, excited to see where this whole year could go. Had a good fall instructionally, with some of the adjustments that I had made, getting back to some of the simplicity of some of the stuff that I do, to make it easier on myself. And so now I'm just kind of just reaping the benefits of it. I think I'm slowly getting my feet really settled in here. And I'm excited to see what the whole year is going to do. This team's exciting. You got Gilberto at the top, Jimenez every day. He does something new that you've never seen before. I call him a robot, honestly. Like I look at him every day, I'm like, he's a robot, bro. Like he just does stuff that is, just doesn't even seem baseball like. I mean, he's got the best hand-eye coordination I've seen out of anybody in my whole entire life. And so, Northcutt playing third big power guy, Joe Davis, one of the funniest dudes I've ever seen, and just goes out there and just crushes balls left and right. It's an interesting team. We're excited. We've been having fun. We've hit a couple bumps, here and there to start the year, but we're, with our manager and everything, we have a great coaching staff. We're excited to see how the year goes. And, this year so far, from my standpoint, I'm pleased with it, but there's still a lot more work to do. And, there's a ladder to be climbed. And so, I just keep my feet where they are every day, work hard and see where it goes.
Okay. So if 300 is underperforming for your standards, what number would you be satisfied with?
I don't really know. I just, I know what's in the tank. I know what I'm capable of. And so, I don't know. I've missed a lot of pitches early. Granted, it's baseball. But it's just cutting down on that, and there's no telling. I don't put a ceiling on myself. I surprise myself quite a bit just from the hard work I put in. So it's just going from there. 300 is a great number. I'm happy about it, but I'm not going to settle with it. Who knows? Everybody says you can't bat 400. I like doing stuff that people tell me I can't. So we'll see.
Yeah, I love that attitude.
I like hearing that too. So Will, kind of, going off some stuff that you're saying, like, maybe is there maybe a player of any sort that you'd kind of maybe compare yourself to, like in terms of play style and maybe, in terms of like the little things you do, or do you kind of like see yourself having your own game? Are there like elements that you'd like to think that, are part of your game, or how do you kind of view that?
I watch other guys and how they go about things, and, I like the aggressiveness of George Springer. He's always been a favorite player of mine. Let's see, Springer. I like the consistency of Brantley. I love how Jackie Bradley went about his, defensive stuff in the outfield. It's taking, a lump sum of stuff that you see from people in the big leagues that, I enjoy watching. But at the end of the day, a lot of people ask me, oh, who do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be me.
Yes.
I want to be me. I don't want to be anybody else. I was raised to be myself. I was, raised to be proud of who I was and the skin that I was in. And so, I'm secure when I say that. I want to be Will Dalton. I don't want to be the next so-and-so. I want to be the one and only Will Dalton. And so that's, what I go in and work on every day, being the best version of me. So
I love to hear it. Also, you did hit a bit of, I will say, Robert's probably going to say it, but you did hit a bit of a soft spot with him with the Jackie Bradley Jr. reference.
Favorite player of all time.
That guy, I've never met him. I wish I could have met him. Everybody in this organization has so many high things to say about him. He has so much high praise around him. I've absolutely loved watching him play. I've learned a lot from just watching videos of him playing. And talking to a lot of the guys around here that know him. It's honestly, in a way, he's helped my career without him even knowing. So, I appreciate that for sure. But yeah, no, he's one hell of a player, and wish him the best while he's out in Milwaukee.
So when I was originally doing my research for all these questions, right? When I put that down, I had kind of an idea of a player you'd be compared to. Now, I'm only looking at paper, right? I'm only looking at stats on a piece of paper. So you can tell me if I'm wrong. But when I was looking at him, the first name that came to my mind was Trot Nixon.
Trot Nixon. Wow. You definitely did some research.
Yes, sir.
Wow. That's honestly, like, I'm trying to think. There's been a lot of comparisons thrown out. That maybe, I think that was the first one.
Really?
Like that actually, like I'll have to go. I haven't looked up. Like I know exactly who it is, and I've seen it before. I just haven't seen it in a long time. So it's like, honestly, heck, that's what that has me interested, because now I'm gonna go look at it even more in depth and kind of compare.
Hey, Trot Nixon was a very, very good hitter. Was more of a power guy, good fielder, had a full tool arsenal to him, and was huge for this Red Sox team, especially in 2004. Like, dude,
Well, no, that's why I'm like, wow, okay.
And just looking at the numbers, they're eerily familiar.
Yeah, no, I mean, heck, that makes sense, you know, on a number standpoint, you know, really thinking about it. I haven't really looked at his numbers that well, but like thinking about it, I've had people like talk about him before, and it's almost like that could have been, you know, I definitely could see the comparison. So, you know, good shoot, hats off to you. That wouldn't have been my first guess.
So we've talked a ton about baseball in the past 40-ish minutes or so. We want to get to know the more personal side of you. Like I said, everybody, when they think Will Dalton, they think professional baseball player, but we know there's a certain side. There's another side of you that, I mean, you only play baseball so much. You got to do in your life. So I know baseball takes up a lot of your time, but what other hobbies do you have outside of baseball?
Well, I love to be outdoors. You know, I love being with friends and family. So, you know, I'm always hunting. I'm always fishing in the off season. You know, sometimes when I can get away during the season and try to fish a little bit, I do. Another big thing, I love playing golf. My dad played it for quite a while. And so it's something that, you know, over the past few years I've picked up and really started to love playing. It's another game that you're going to fail a lot more than you're going to succeed. So, you know, I seem to love playing, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, it's something that I've put some time into to try to get better at. Granted, it hasn't gotten that much better, but it's gotten a little bit better.
Will, I picked up golf in a similar way, and I feel your pain.
Dude, the only thing I feel like the only thing that it hurt is my dang pocketbook. Next thing you know, I feel like I got to buy new golf balls. I got to buy a new club because, you know, wasn't paying attention and accidentally banged it up against something, and now it's broke. You know, all kinds of stuff like that. So it's been interesting. You know, I spent a lot of time also, you know, one thing that's been big for me, and a lot of people are always shocked nowadays that I go about sharing this, but it's slowly starting to, you know, I'm trying to figure out, you know, long-term how I want to go about how to help raise more awareness for mental health issues with, you know, male athletes or male figures in general. You know, something I've struggled with in my career. It's something I've struggled with in my whole entire life, that I didn't know how to deal with for the longest time. And now that I've been in this organization, they've allowed me to use the tools that they can provide. It's helped me learn more about myself, and I'm, you know, I'm in better, you know, control those issues. And so it's been a great, you know, experience. It's had its ups, it's had its downs, and it's something that I'm really interested in helping others with. So it's something that I've slowly kind of, you know, in my off time, when I have time to, you know, open the computer screen and kind of look at some things, you know, going forward, you know, stuff that I want to do to try to help other people with, that, whether it's starting a foundation, you know, on down the road or stuff of that nature. So
I got that. Hey, and I got my Brendan Salucci t-shirt right here. He does a lot of stuff with that.
Yeah, that's the boy. I think I got a couple of those shirts. I was like, they're somewhere in my closet. I got to get them out.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, when I heard he was doing that, I was the first one to say, yo, once you get those t-shirts out, I'm the first one to buy one. Because honestly, the logo is amazing. Him and
I, well, we've had a lot of awesome conversations. You know, we're on different sides sometimes of the spectrum with things, and it's created a lot of cool qualities in like how we go about business and stuff like that, when it comes to handling, you know, and helping spread the word on, you know, mental health awareness and, you know, stuff of that nature. So it's been a cool experience. You know, I'm happy for him to see where he's going with all the, you know, the letters by Lucci and stuff, and it's really cool. So, you know, I'm proud of him. He continues to do a great job with that. So
he is awesome. But I just want to say also with what you were saying about hunting and fishing, I was going to say, you're from Tennessee. I'm going to assume that's two of them, first of all. And second of all, with the golf game, right? I'm the same way, right? I try and hit the ball forward, but it goes more left than anything for me every damn time off the driver. I don't know how to fix it.
Oh yeah, but you're a lefty though, right?
Yes, I slice it every time.
Yeah.
I'll say this. It'll be there's one or three things every day I step up to the golf when I go to the golf course. I'm either gonna hit it dead straight and just absolutely hit the crap out of it, or I'm gonna hit it left, or I'm gonna hit it right. But there's no all of it mixed in. It's either going one direction or another, and that's what I got to use for the day. So I just tell people, hey, if you keep hitting it left, aim a little bit farther right. Hope it goes in the middle.
All right. So I got a lightning round for you, right? Couple questions outside of baseball. I just need a lightning round on. First, favorite video game?
MLB The Show. Or no, Call of Duty.
Call of Duty? Which one?
That's a tough one. Either MW2 for back in the day or MW2 or Black Ops 1.
All right. If you weren't a baseball player, what would you be doing right now?
Most likely probably working in the community of some sort. Most likely probably being in law enforcement.
Nice. If you could play any baseball stadium, where would you want to play?
Fenway Park.
Right
Fan
to
favorite.
it. What's your favorite genre of music and favorite song?
That's a tough one because I listen to everything.
Same.
Like all ends of the spectrum. I would say my go-to would be country. Favorite song.
What's your walk-up song?
My walk-up songs are hip hop and rap this year. I'm trying to think, because my walk-up songs this year it's Lil Durk and then it's Kodak. I went full Florida roots on that. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I mean,
hey, if you're a country guy, you gotta love Morgan Wallen.
Dinosaur from Hank Williams Jr. That's probably my go-to.
Okay.
So we'll throw it back a little bit.
All right. Do you have any superstitions when it comes to your hitting routine?
No, just complete my routine. Just go about my whole routine. If I do it all, then I feel comfortable with it. Other than that, I don't really believe in the superstitions of it. You make I feel like you create your success. So positive thinking, positive mind, and go up there and have fun. So that's, I guess, the only superstitions you could call it. But other than that, no, not really.
What was one skill you always wanted to learn, not baseball?
Playing the guitar. I've said it for 5 years, and I'm still trying to learn how to do it. But I just got a guitar, and so Northcutt knows how to play the guitar, and I'm slowly trying to get him to teach me how to play it. So
I could never learn. My fingers wouldn't adjust fast enough.
Yeah, that's what's been frustrating me. And then my whole hands, everything gets tired, and I'm like, all right, screw this. We got to put it back in the corner.
I was always a drums guy.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Final one. What was your favorite childhood TV show?
Ed, and Eddie.
Oh, all right. I love that show. Actually, that unlocks some childhood memories for me. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, Brian, you get this one, and then I'll get the last one.
So, on so far this year, what are your thoughts on the 2021 Red Sox? I mean, I had my personal thoughts on them coming into the year. Fans of the show that, have seen me on guest appearances, heard them at the beginning, and now have heard them since. How have you viewed them so far?
Big league team. They mash, man. They're fun to watch. I think it's like they play with a, bit of swagger, as if a lot of people didn't think they were going to be this good this season. It's been fun to watch. But as an organization as a whole, it's exciting. What Hein Bloom's doing to build this whole organization as a whole for, long-term success. It's got everybody ready to go. We're, very excited. We're excited for this team, in the big leagues this year doing their thing. I wish them continued success and always will. So it's exciting. I would put it that way. It's just one word, exciting, because I love watching them play. So,
and I see a very underdog kind of mentality to this team. And if I had to say, and I've said this numerous times on the show, this is the 2003 Red Sox reincarnated.
I can't remember who said that the other day. Somebody said that to me. I think it was one of the coaches. We were talking about it. But it's just you can't count them out against anything. It's like the other night, JD comes up and it was at top of the ninth or something,
yep.
and yard. It's just like you can't put the team away. Even seems like when guys are scuffling a little bit here and there through so far this year, it seems like there's been somebody else that comes in and steps in and picks them up and allows the, has success to where it allows the other guy to get back on his feet. Next thing you know, it's just kind of a revolving door of guys just constantly doing their thing. So it's like I said, it's been a great time to watch.
Mm-hmm. We are a Kurt Schilling away from a World Series. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see, any baseball guy, if they understand, teams competing for the World Series. If you watch baseball long enough, there will be somebody that they acquire at some point by the trade deadline that, it will shake things up a little bit. If I had to take a guess, there probably will be a move to get somebody. I think they see it as a legitimate possibility this year. So we'll see. It'd be cool to see, a big time guy like, I don't know, Max Scherzer or some guys like that come in and do it.
That was the exact name I had on my show this weekend.
The name on everybody's show.
Well, I don't know, I put that post out on Instagram. It was the night after the JD Homer, like you were saying. I put a post out and somebody said Scherzer is going to be the guy.
I don't know what it's gonna take to get him though. That's gonna be a haul. I feel like.
Not really.
And we'll see. I think there'll be a heavy load of us minor league guys going to another side, most likely. But if that's to help this organization win, I think a lot of us guys would be like, tipping our hat at it. We'll see. I think that's definitely a possibility. That's the reason why I brought it up. So we'll see, if Mad Max becomes, a Red Sox or not, but we'll see.
That's the sad part of the game, though, professionally, is at the end of the line, it is business, sometimes.
It's business, but at the same time, baseball is a small world. You'll see all the guys again, keep playing. You never know how things, shake out. So
yeah, exactly. You can always come back to a team. But before I say this final question, Brian, you got any other questions on top of your head?
No, I don't really think anything. I just wanted to thank Will for coming on. I really appreciate you coming out to talk with us today.
Mm-hmm. And like I said, I'm so glad we were able to schedule something together, and it was awesome getting to know you. Actually, I got one more that pops in my head. So I got two more for you. First is, what is the vibe of a clubhouse? For you guys in Salem, are you guys like always up and energetic, or are you guys serious down to we just got to win the game? What's kind of the vibe in the clubhouse?
You would think it was a circus if you saw our club. It's quite fun. We keep things light, have fun. Guys are always, their new trend is playing hacky sack. They all get in a circle in the locker room. It started in Fredericksburg this past week, and everybody's playing hacky sack and, having a good time. We are business when the time comes and when we need to take care of business, but we don't shy away from having our fair share of fun. It's a long season. Our manager, Luke Montz, is huge on, what we call it the F word, and that's fun. We use the F word and the C word, have fun and be consistent. And, we do that every day. If we win and there's not music on in the locker room within the first 2 minutes of us getting in the locker room, he comes in and starts yelling, "Where's the dang music?" The only time we don't have music playing is right after a loss. That's typical, respect the loss. But everything else, man, it's always fun. There's always smiling faces in the locker room. We're always cracking jokes. It makes it a lot easier if, say you're struggling, or say something's, not going great for you. It creates an environment to pick you up and keep guys going and excited to play the game. So, it's been fun. It's been a blessing so far to have that guy as my manager for 2 years straight. But it's definitely, it's created a great environment, great winning environment, great developmental environment for all of us. So, it's a blessing. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh man, like we always say, it's just a bunch of kids playing a kids game.
Exactly.
That's the heart of it. But the last question I want to ask you is, you're just a kid from the middle of Tennessee, and you made it to become a minor league player and are going to progress throughout this Red Sox organization. We know the road to the MLB is an extremely hard road to travel, but you're on your way to get there. What piece of advice can you say to that high school kid who was trying to make it to college ball, or that college kid from a small school trying to make it in the draft? What kind of advice do you have for their future forward?
Bet on yourself. Be willing to do. Be willing to give up a lot in order to get more in return in the long run. Just because somebody says no now doesn't mean it's a no later. And at the end of the day, the biggest thing, after saying that, the biggest thing for me is being able to, can you look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I've literally given everything I possibly have given. And that's what I do every single night when I leave the field. That's what I do every morning, when I wake up and have my cup of coffee, all right, this is what I need to do today. And I need to give it everything I got. Just to continue to bet on yourself. I mean, that's the biggest thing. If you can believe in yourself and you can keep that confidence, then you can make anything happen in this world, in any aspect, in my opinion.
All right. So this has been an awesome interview, right? It's been awesome to get to know you, and we would love to have you back on the show later down once the season's done. Get a recap from you of how the season went, all that fun stuff. But for now, you got anything else to say to the people before we sign off?
No, I'm good. I appreciate y'all having me on. Definitely we'll get back on here sometime soon. We'll make something happen. Thank you so much for the opportunity. It's been cool to, meet guys and talk to you guys. Good way to kind of start my day and get up and get going. So, it actually helps. So, I hope y'all have a good rest of the day and, go Red Sox.
Man, that's awesome. What kind of outro music am I running? What genre?
Hey, man, surprise me.
All right. Sounds good. With that being said, to the fans, thank you guys so much. Make sure you keep an eye on Will as he climbs through this Red Sox organization. God bless you guys. Let's roll that outro music. We'll see you next time.
See you, boys.
Way you move, that shit is beautiful. Late night crew, your numero. EOS, the feelings mutual. She had me until her funeral. And you won't say yes, it's true. 'Cause you like that I might fall for you. Under late night covers, there's the truth. Yeah, what you do, you got me singing like la 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 la. We be singing all day, filling up a cup. I'm addicted to you, couldn't get enough. Had a real long night, now we feeling rough. And they be coming after, driving trucks. And I be running faster in my trucks. And she be looking at me, stunned and never going ha ha ha. Oh, yeah, we singing la la la. And you won't say yes, it's true. 'Cause you like that